We're going to begin with the E equals MC squared of spiritual consciousness. We're all spiritual who are enjoying this together. And the initial point is that all pain, all suffering is needless. If you're a spiritual presence, as we all are, there are many different methods, many different self-enhancement or spiritual enhancement techniques that we can all use to arrive at a state of equanimity, of quiet, peace, harmony in our existence. And yet we're fraught with this, the action of the dark force around us all day that keeps the material life at us all day, right? This responsibility, that, the other. But for the deeply spiritually conscious, this world never was. It's an illusion. If you understand that, you can carry your life to fruition where all of this will fall apart with a softening and urging of your gaze from heaven through you, through this. That's what spirituality is. It's the end of all the suffering, all the pain. If you read the holy books aright, that's what you'll see. Somehow the dark force and everyday understanding of spirituality, I'll sit in the corner and I'll be enlightened. No, that's kind of selfish, isn't it? If your mom's still in pain or your dearly beloved or whoever it is, you see what I'm saying? Spirituality is disappearing into the heavenly mist forever. And not for yourself, but for everyone else. It's not for us. It's for those we love and care for. For all the decent people in the world. The elemental part of this equation is to realize that, first of all, you're not lost in the midst of all the travail, and those you love should not be. You're to lift their vibration, their understanding, their comprehension of what spiritual perception entails, which is a softening and a beautifying of all your sensory equipment, your mind, body, soul. Your body doesn't exist if you're spiritual. You sit in meditation, you disappear into this cosmic light, don't you? We all do, as spiritual beings. Then we'll have good days or bad months, and this will hit you, the clatter of the world around you. And the statement being made is that if you go deep enough into your practice, doesn't mean you won't be hit by the dark force that seeks to make this world real all the time, but you'll understand it always. And each time it hits you, you'll be a little better, a little more adept at ushering the next friend through the gateway. To that which should not be named. Holy God, our Father and our friend. When you're spiritual, you can sit quietly. There are thousands of ways this will happen every day, a little different. For me this morning, I just sit quietly and I can step outside of time right now and realize that the whole world is it's the devil, it's the dark force, Satan, it's the illusion, right? In the Orient they call it the illusion, that the world doesn't really exist. So I'm there where it's not a big deal to be enlightened or feel God, or it's you look through the whole world does not exist right now. It's like this diffuse, beauteous light that's just soft, calm, grayish, blue, white, gold, but softer than color. And the person you think you are, because the world is hell, the world is the projection of hell, is the illusion, it's called in the Orient. And you step into a place, it's more than you think, enlightenment or so forth. Everything of God, of the spiritual realm of eternity, is It's transcendent of time, place, circumstance, thought. It's so much more wonderful, beautiful than we've ever imagined. But that's who you are. And that's what you gave up, if you're spiritual, to be in the midst of this. There's no time. And there's a openness. No thought of this world can possibly exist in it. It's eternity, it's forever, it's perfect, but nothing of this world, of any conception we've had from birth to this moment, from any birth to any moment, exists in your true spiritual awareness. So it's not a big deal that you're here to unfold, to disengage everyone from the thought that there is something other than God. As a spiritual being, how can we actually imagine such a thought? Or ascribe it to God, or we're supposed to grow and become a better person? No, we're supposed to step right outside of it, through it. The reason it's on us in such a devastating manner at times is the fact that we allowed ourselves to fall into this dimension, this horribleness, out of compassion. So we allowed our sensory equipment to fall into this world, and sensory equipment, there's the beatitude we began with, and then we become this thing. And so all the conditioning we allowed through this aperture called birth to happen to us, and now we drop all the conditioning, know that the whole world need not be, and we're in that place of eternity. And it's so easy to be here because nothing that ever was in this world can conceivably exist. The point I'm attempting to make is that it's so much more. You, the basic you that you were before you allowed this to fall upon you, is so much more. You're not guilty. And yes, we're infinitely responsible, but that's what we want. And that's what we want to get across to our friends and loved ones, that we can step through all the madness now. You could say in this lifetime, but if you're spiritual, you're not in any lifetime. If you want to be 5,000 years prior to now, or a trillion years after now, but there is no now and there are no years, then you're there. The world is a foolishness. It happened in eternity. As a spiritual presence, we've all had visitations and visions daily, and most of the time it's pretty rough being here, isn't it? But as soon as you give up any responsibility for it, and then you'll take on infinite responsibility. Anyone that's ever been hurt in my life, my mom, my dad, this or that, I take on responsibility for it. I mentioned one time a few weeks ago in the old book, it says, it doesn't say love your father and mother, it says honor your father, honor your mother. It means there might be something wrong in their life where you didn't get a perfect love. But you take on that responsibility. You still have respect and admiration, right? For everyone in their station in life. And from there, very quietly, you decide, you discern how they were hurt in a certain way. And then over time, while we're in this place, we can figure out what will heal, what will help, what will engender a larger frame of reference for those we love. And we'll meet them there. The spiritual gifts are very, very elegant and delicate, and they're spiritual, so it's not about the world that seems to be, but about this delicate, softly lit wavelength of reality called divinity. That God is, that you are, that you are, that you are. And again, forget religion or time or place or circumstance or family relationship or any relationship. You are the heavenly light. But it's a very pure state. You're not like arguing over God, who's better. It's, God is infinite kindness. So all the concepts of the world, of people being different or being born or different conditioning, it's all gone when you take responsibility for all of it. You'll see through it all. Your gifts will become lighter, more pure, more elegant. And you'll see how to walk your friends and loved ones out from the shadows. It's not a big deal that this is what spirituality entails. Ending all of it forever. And that's the E equals MC squared of spirituality. That you're doing something forever for all the good souls and friends. My dear friend Rose was buried yesterday, but she's here. You know, my mom, my dad, and they had tremendous physical illnesses and so forth before death, but they're here, and my loved ones, my teachers, Kathleen Judge, who stepped in my life 50, 60 years ago, and when you have a friend like that that's purer than the light itself. My friend Corrine Hodge was a great ballerina, and she passed 20 years ago, and there's certainly she taught all these elegant methods of spirituality to gifted dancers and so forth. And there are people like that you'll meet from time to time. My friend Baba Beatty is always with me, or my martial arts teachers, and they're all happen to be spiritual, if they're spiritual, and they're with me 24 hours a day, but you don't have to go somewhere, and I don't have to look them up online. I've never been online, never used a computer. I'm not saying that, I'm saying that out of I trust God. I know that what I have to do will be done. It doesn't matter, I have zero support, and that's okay. From time to time, the heavenly whispers pass through me, and the next step is taken, the next step is taken. And the next door is open. My friend Maureen visited me, I guess the night before last or in the middle of the night, and let me know as an instrument, her whole life was about Jesus, and that the next step will be done, and I don't have to worry about all the details that hit me day and night. It'll be done. It'll be done. It'll be done. There is a God. Your God's voice, his ears, his mind, his heart, and his soul mostly. You will succeed in this mission to divest yourself of all your conditioning. There are very elegant methods to do this. My friend Rosamund French had those from Dr. Gabodi. They're probably still available. There are ways to divest yourself of your conditioning. And if you're really spiritual, you don't need a way. You don't need to divest anything. It will come to you. It will happen. It's a gift. You are God's gift to this, the very last generation. You are the pure light, the kind light, the decent one, from the far-off mount. You're here for a time, or maybe a time and a half at times. Maybe I remember my last two incarnations, and then this one, I'll end it before it's finished. For all of us. You're made of light and a divine steel. Your wisdom involves understanding what's been said, that this be the last time. Let there be time no more. There's a sense of time. Step outside into the light, into this lighted, eternal God space. It's you are that. And so with this in mind, you will have ways and means to communicate to those you love and trust and see as spiritual, to lift them out of the morass, out of the insanity of believing any of their conditioning from birth to this moment. We're not conditioned beings in a world, we're volunteer bodhisattvas, spiritual ones from eternity, that allowed all this to encrust around us, and now we simply let it go. You are forever now. The sense of you, the soul of you, the purity of you, the kindness of you, the utter genius of you. You know what's being said. And the world inflicts itself upon you all day and every day. And if you know that you're going to end it all, you don't need to know this method and that method, just knowing that, and then it will open up, and it will open up, and it will open up. You're not in the 3rd or 5th or 9th grade, and you're not in college or any school or any place. You are eternity now. Let all the conditioning fall from us forthwith, but let it go. You're God's presence, you're a divine presence. That's what spirituality is. Forget time and place and know that the dark force sets up all of it. If you know that, then you know you can walk through walls, spiritually speaking, and the walls will collapse around you. It'll happen in different ways around the clock every day, and as you free your friends and neighbors. And your work is not freeing yourself, you know that. It's because you care, it's the kindness of your heart and soul, that you're going to pull all your loved ones and friends out of the fires of disbelief and faithlessness, aren't you? They might be here, or at my age, most of my friends are gone, they're thus gone, but they're here, totally. Does that make sense? We're made of this purity, I could say the pure light, it's so much more subtle than the word light might entail. It's so much more beautiful. You're so much more beautiful than time or any frame of reference. And of course you're brilliant. Your genius is to know reality. How can someone that has a degree of this or that begin to comprehend the purity of you, the quiet one, the decent one, the kind one? We meet God in eternity through humility and kindness. And this delicate, lighted air, we see through it all day, don't we? Knowing that you're going to end all the conditioning for everyone in this lifetime, as it were, that's the E equals MC squared of spiritual consciousness, isn't it? End it for everyone. Reach through with your heart. Fear no one. You understand? You don't go out in the street and fight them. You look right through them. And then you'll see the dark beings, the conditioning that happens of this one or that one or the other around you, and you'll face it down and look at it and know that it's part of the dark force, it's the tentacles of the devil. And it is, and if you know that, you'll face it down, you'll understand it. And then you'll see God delicately eviscerate it for you. End it softly or powerfully. It is the last time. Thank you. Thank you for listening.